Hello everybody. This is the second in our series of little videos about nutrition as part of our Pass the Peas group. So yesterday we were talking about yesterday, whenever you watch the first video, we were talking about the portion control containers. So I'm very interested to know if any of you decided that that's something you want to try, and whether you've gone ahead to order those or you've got hold of them already. So make sure you keep me posted on how you get on with those containers. Through the month, we will keep returning to that subject. But for today, we're going to talk about some principles of healthy nutrition. And of course, I am not a nutritionist. I am not an expert in any of these things. I'm just offering to you some of the things that I've picked up along the way that have been helping me, and I hope will help you too. So today I've thought of 5 principles of healthy nutrition that I try to keep in mind as I'm taking care of my body and my family's bodies, hopefully, as well. So the first one is that you are what you eat. So this that's kind of a well-known little saying, but it's based on the way our body metabolizes what we eat. And truly, if you think about the way you take in food, your food is digested, whatever that food was made up of goes to become your cells, your muscles, tissue, fat. So literally the food that you eat becomes your flesh and bone. And that is sometimes something just to bear in mind. If I were to ever hold a bottle of Coke in my hand with a view to drinking it, I would be thinking, wow, do I want what this is made of to become me? Is this that I'm holding here in my hand, whatever it is I'm about to eat, is this going to fuel my body in the ways that will really do me good, that will build a strong, healthy body? And if not, is it the most helpful thing for me to eat, to take on board? So you're literally building your body from the inside out. So that's something to bear in mind. That's a principle. As you think about your food choices, are you going to build the right kind of body, the kind of body that you want, if you choose whatever it is that you're going to choose to eat for your next meal, for your next snack? The second thing is that, and Tim reminds me of this all the time, my hubby, everything should be okay in moderation. Now, there are some exclusions. I think about some foods as poisons. They're not really foods. They're actually just things that are marketed to us as foods or drinks. But in general, all kind of categories of food are good for us in moderation. So that includes fats that for a long time were kind of, something you should totally steer clear of. But actually we need them. We need the fat dissolvable or soluble vitamins that are in healthy fats. We need the nutrients that are in healthy fats. So that's just an example of a food type that we need. So in general, it is far better to think not of denying yourself certain types of foods, not of cutting out completely certain types of foods from your diet, but thinking what would be a reasonable amount of this type of food, and bearing in mind that we're training our taste buds, we're training our minds to be attracted, to have an appetite for certain kinds of foods. And the more we feed our bodies good, healthy foods, the more our appetite for those foods will grow. So everything in moderation, but we are cultivating an appetite for what is good for us. The next principle I thought of is we need to be eating whole food and real food. So there are some foods on the market that like I just alluded to, couldn't really be considered foods. They're so far from how anything grew in the ground that they couldn't really be called foods. So really the kinds of things that are best for our bodies are this is what I say to my kids, as close to the way they grew as possible. So if it's still recognizable as something that is similar to how it grew or tastes how it would have tasted if you just kind of plucked it off the tree or whatever, then that's good for you. If it's taken so many steps through the processing of foods that it's not really recognizable as anything that actually once could have been called natural, then it's probably not going to do you any good. So whole foods, real food. So as far as possible, we need to be eating real food. That is, I mean, even meat, which I'm a vegetarian, but let's stick with things that are either homemade or grow. You can recognize them as they grew and they were natural at some point. Okay, I think you get my drift. I'm struggling to put that into words, but I think you get my drift. Whole real foods is what we're looking for. And then the fourth principle is we need our food choices to really be about food. That sounds silly, and we will revisit this subject on some of our later video posts. But we can choose our foods because of our emotions. We're not actually eating for the food in that moment. We're eating for the comfort, or we're eating for the sugar, or we're eating for the caffeine, or whatever it might be. We're drinking for the alcohol, whatever it might be. It's not actually in that moment about fueling our bodies. It's not about our health. It's not about really food. It's about something completely different. So as far as possible, when it comes to the choices that we make about the food that we eat, let's be in touch with, is this choice actually about food? Is this about hunger? Is this about a need to fuel my body? If it is, then yes, let's make a really good choice about that. If it's about something else, if it's about the fact that I'm lonely, or I'm bored, or I'm tired, or I'm feeling a bit down, then let's not disregard that. Let's look at it and let's respond to it in a way that is going to help us, is going to grow us, is going to strengthen us. And quite possibly that doesn't involve food at all in that moment. So let's keep our food choices about food. And a final principle, I think, is I don't know about you, but I am not about fad diets. Even in all my years of really limiting what I was eating and having quite a disordered approach to food, at least I had the sense not to buy diet pills or whatever other faddy solution to the idea of either being slim or healthy. And I still think that is really important. If we have a mindset where we feel that we're going to make the changes that we want to make to our health and fitness quickly, or with some kind of magic formula, some magic solution that is being offered to us, that is just not the case. As a creationist, I feel like our bodies have been made to function in a particular way, and when we honor the way they were made to work, then we do ourselves good and our bodies respond to the way that we treat them. So in that sense, you could say the body is a machine, in the sense that you put fuel in, it will respond to the kind of fuel that you put into it, just like a car does. And you exercise and move it, it will respond to that exercise and movement. Your body is made to function in a particular way. And when we honor those processes and the things that are actually good for our bodies, then we reap the benefits in terms of health. So those are a few principles. I wonder if you can think of any others. As far as nutrition and food choices are, those are some thoughts that I kind of build my own choices around. And if you have thoughts, comments, questions, then as always, post them below this video. I look forward to hearing from you, and I'll catch you again tomorrow. Bye.